Chapter 1. You are listening at FameTV.info. Chapter 1. Transmigrated as the female supporting role translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Miss, you frightened your dear servant here. You should have just put on a show. Why did you do it for real? Thankfully you're still fine. If not, the Duke and Prince would have died of heartbreak. Lu Yue was laying in bed and could not help but lift her hands to touch the strangulation marks on her neck when she heard the cries from her maidservant. Disbelief flashed through her gaze. In that instant, she realized that she had transmigrated into the world of a novel she had been reading a few days ago and took the form of the female supporting role that had the same name as her. The story was about an apparently weak girl who emerged victorious in a battle between sisters. The female lead was Lu Yunshuang. She was the daughter born from the secondary wife but was a kind yet tenacious young lady who had assisted the male lead Long Qi up the throne as she became his queen. On the contrary, her younger half-sister Lu Yue may be the Duke's legitimate daughter, but her character was indescribable. Like Lu Yunshuang, she was infatuated with Long Qi and did everything she could to win the heart of this man. Even after Long Qi and Lu Yunshuang got married, Lu Yue was not about to give up and was willing to lower her status and settle with becoming his concubine. When she was faced with objections from her family, she hanged herself on the day Lu Yunshuang was due to visit her maternal home after getting married. Lu Yue's mouth twitched. The heavens were playing a huge joke on her. She had merely scolded the female supporting role for her stupidity and now someone had transmigrated her as that character. She was from the 21st century Cathay, a family with generations involved in Chinese traditional medicine practices. She was the Lu family's heir and had been involved in traditional medicine ever since she was a young child. Not only was she great with her medical skills, but she was also gifted with great potential in the art of apothecary. She knew how to mix and match herbs, and knew how to create poisons. Lu Yue was a rare genius of the likes the Lu family have not seen in centuries. A few days ago, she had just completed an experiment and decided to give herself a break. When she switched on her phone, she was greeted with an ad for a novel and inexplicably clicked on it. Perhaps she was bored out of her wits or the author had a knack for writing, for she read the whole novel. The price she had to pay. She transmigrated as the female supporting role. That book was cursed. If I had known, I wouldn't have read it. While she soaked in her remorse, a cynical voice was heard from outside her room door. Father is discussing with the crown prince for you to be married to him as his concubine. Are you satisfied now? When Lu Yue heard that tone of mockery, she could not help but turn her head in the direction of the voice. Unbeknown to her, a man with handsome features and a well-built frame was at her door. However, there was a coldness in his eyes that looked far from friendly. Greetings to you, Prince. The maidservant Chu Yue immediately bowed at the young man. Lu Tingchen's gaze was filled with undisguised annoyance. Lu Yue. Attempting suicide for a man. Bravo. What an embarrassment. Lu Tingchen promptly marched off after reprimanding Lu Yue. Lu Yue frowned. Did Lu Tingchen assume I was staging a suicide to coax our father to agree to let me marry the male lead as his concubine? Once again, she touched the strangle marks on her neck. It was a deep marking to prove that the real Lu Yue was dead. If she was merely staging it, would she have risked her life? When she saw the maidservant Chu Yue intentionally avoiding her gaze, she understood that Lu Tingchen was not the only person who thought so. So the whole Duke mansion was under the impression that she was faking it as well. Lu Yue felt rather speechless with her current predicament. She had to admit that the original Lu Yue was indeed stupid and useless. How could she have killed herself because of some jerk? She had a sudden thought and asked Chu Yue, today is the day that the crown prince and crown princess return to visit the maternal home, isn't it? Indeed, miss. The Duke is discussing your marriage with the crown prince right now. Before Chu Yue could finish, the maid saw her young mistress jumping out of bed and rushing out the door. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.